Welcome back to Naughty or Nice. I'm your host Brett, and we're looking at 12 products leading up to Christmas, and I'm letting you know if I think they are naughty or nice. Day 7. Day 7. Funny Hat Man. This gift probably doesn't have 30k or a Gelfire Mythic. No, this isn't you writing to yourself, "You didn't eat darts again. I wish you happy holidays and have a good time from space to Funny Hat Man." Hey, you remember that Nerf Gelfire contest? I do. Wow, wait. Look, it's a Hyper Blaster. It's the Nerf Hyper Fuel 20, one of the newer Hyper offerings. The smallest one. Have I ever reviewed a Hyper Blaster on my channel? I don't think I have. Well, on that note, this is a monumental milestone for the channel. Beret finally jumps into Hyper, the best ammo type, the game-changing line of all time from Nerf, and he's gonna get those Gelfire rounds if it kills him. Here they are. Small ball energy right there, safety glasses, and the Fuel 20. That's a lot bigger than I think it needs to be. Not uncomfortable. Oh yeah, and they've got one still left on the box too. Don't forget about that Hyper round. Door on top feels a little sticky. Hopefully that gets better. Let's just try one. Let's. Wow, this whole blaster was like locked up for storage or something. All right, let's fire it over there. Let's fire it over there. Alright. It's the Nerf Hyper Fuel 20, featuring the blaster itself, eye protection, and 20 Nerf Hyper rounds. Firing up to 110 FPS, it's the first and only Hyper Blaster to include enough rounds to fully fill as advertised, retailing for $21 from Walmart. I'm well aware that for many people, looking at Hyper seems like a useless thing to do, but I want to look at this blaster first and see if it meets expectations before discounting the entire line. So here's the Fuel 20, which I would say overall has a pretty appealing look. I like the overall Hyper aesthetic. The faux carbon fiber look with the yellow and the blue, I think, is a very unique touch and clearly identifies itself as Hyper. My hand fits on the blaster pretty darn well. I'd say it's fairly comfortable. The rail doesn't get in the way, but it does add some unnecessary bulk to the bottom. You of course can add some extra refill canisters to the bottom and the side, but I also feel like they could have just put a rail right here so you could put one on the bottom, which wouldn't really obstruct your hand anyway. On the top, you've got two little sights which might help you aim, and down the barrel you can also see there is no hop-up tab, which on one hand is not great because it would probably help with making it more accurate, but on the other hand, there is no other hand. Why is there no hop-up tab? The one thing I have been able to identify is that you can very easily, as a result, just shove a round in the front in case you want a guaranteed fire the next time you prime this. Which, speaking of, this blaster does bring something new with the hopper on top. When you prime the blaster back, you can see that that little tab is moving in an attempt to agitate the balls and hopefully feed more consistently, which I will say almost helps. But the other thing that is just kind of annoying in the first place is getting the balls into that hopper. Look how much room there is. Oh, that little ramp, that's supposed to feed the balls downwards. It advertises holding 20. If I break it open from the side too. Fresh Hyper rounds, nice and shiny. Now I'm going to put them in as carefully as possible. Oh no, we haven't had that problem before, have we? Give it a little shake just to make sure they don't fall out. Oh, come on. Every other Hyper Blaster has had the unique issue where you get less balls than what the hopper is advertised as being compatible with. That number was better for feed consistency. This is the first one where it advertises fitting 20 and gives you 20. And this is also the first one where maybe it shouldn't fit 20 because it is pretty tight in there. Like, you can basically only have a single layer of balls. Otherwise, those balls get stuck with the reload door here, or even get wedged in the back, which makes you have to either open it and pull them out yourself, or just constantly shake the blaster in the hopes that it'll feed consistently. And you may not care too much about the instructions, but in this case, I think there are some interesting things to point out. It shows that there is indeed a trigger lock, which makes sense. Any 14 and up blaster, that's what they typically do. They advertise that you do need to angle it down when priming it for best consistency, not up, which makes sense because they feed downwards. Back, forward. Let's see if we got one. Hey, it worked. I think the funniest thing for me is that if you look at these pictures, just look how much the hopper appears to be filled on this blaster. It looks like you've got, what, like a couple levels of hyper rounds in there? But no, the reality is you've got like one level. If you encounter a jam, I suppose there's one little access door on the right and on the left, so you can actually like see all the way through. And the funny thing about these doors is that they're about the same size as a hyper round. I guess when it's open, you could also just shove a hyper round through the side and into the little tray. Yeah, that actually worked. Wow, what a life hack. If you prime it and find that you have gotten a jam, you can also hit this little latch on the side to release it. And I guess you could also then forcibly, come on, double feed. Oh, well, okay, mixed performance there. The trigger isn't bad, the pullback isn't that bad. It could be more comfortable, but it's not uncomfortable, I would say. While the shell is overall pretty good, I can see that it's trying to split apart in the handle. So, could we get another screw down there, maybe? I mean, come on, just look at this. If you barely just drop them in, they're bouncing out. Come on, yay, yay. Now we must ask, is the Hyper Fuel 20 naughty or nice? Oh Hyper, I think Hyper does get an unnecessarily bad rap. I can certainly see the reasons, and I don't judge clubs for wanting to ban it, but there is some stuff to love, and overall the look is definitely a plus side for the Hyper line. This blaster, I'm not sure does Hyper the best amount of favors. The performance is there, the comfort is there, and yeah, the stylings is absolutely there. But wow, oh wow, does this hopper absolutely kill any potential for usability with this blaster, at least in my opinion. Reloading, the feeding reliability, I've seen other hyper blasters, the Rush 40 is like the same size, and the new Evolve 100 has a really cool feature to open the door and load a bunch of rounds in there. This one at least comes with 20 and advertises fitting 20, but I'd probably fit 10 in here for your best chances. Yeah. It is with a sad heart that that one goes into the naughty pile. Could have been okay, but no, that is not the Hyper Blaster for you. If you like Hyper. If you want to buy Hyper, maybe you could just get into the Nerf Gelfire line, because you know that shoots Gelfire rounds, and Hyper was definitely a transition to the Gelfire because they weren't really sure.